The journey of creating truly exceptional old-fashioned grape jam begins long before the first pot is placed on the stove. It starts in the vineyard, where careful grape harvesting plays the most critical role in determining the final flavor, aroma, texture, and overall quality of the jam. This stage is not simply about collecting fruit. It is a delicate balance of science, experience, patience, and respect for nature. Every decision made during harvesting directly shapes the taste that will eventually be sealed inside each jar. At the heart of this process lies timing. Grapes must be harvested at precisely the right moment of ripeness. This window is often surprisingly short, sometimes lasting only a few days. If picked too early, the grapes lack sufficient sugar content, resulting in a jam that tastes sour, thin, and underdeveloped. On the other hand, if harvesting is delayed, the grapes may become overly soft, overly sweet, or even begin to ferment on the vine, which can compromise both flavor and safety. Achieving this perfect timing requires careful observation of the vineyard over days and weeks. Farmers rely on both traditional knowledge and simple scientific methods to determine ripeness. They observe the color of the grapes, which deepens and becomes more uniform as they mature. They gently press the fruit to feel its firmness. Ripe grapes should be plump yet slightly soft. Taste testing is perhaps the most reliable method. A perfectly ripe grape offers a harmonious balance of sweetness and acidity, with a rich, full-bodied flavor that lingers on the palate. This balance is crucial because it forms the foundation of the jam's taste without requiring excessive added sugar later in the process. Weather conditions also play a significant role in determining when grapes are ready to harvest. Warm, sunny days allow sugars to develop, while cool nights help preserve acidity. A sudden rainstorm near harvest time can dilute the natural sugars in the grapes, making them less suitable for jam production. For this reason, experienced growers keep a close eye on weather forecasts and may adjust their harvesting schedule accordingly. In many cases, harvesting begins early in the morning when temperatures are cooler. This helps preserve the grape's freshness and prevents premature spoilage or fermentation. Once the decision to harvest is made, the method of picking becomes equally important. In traditional grape harvesting, the fruit is picked by hand. This method, though labor-intensive, allows for a level of care and precision that machines cannot replicate. Workers move through the vineyard row by row, carefully examining each cluster. Using small scissors or pruning shears, they cut the grape clusters from the vine, ensuring that the fruit remains intact and undamaged. Hand-picking offers several advantages that directly impact the quality of the jam. First, it minimizes bruising. Grapes are delicate, and even slight damage to their skin can lead to oxidation, loss of juice, and the development of off flavors. By handling each cluster gently, workers preserve the natural integrity of the fruit. Second, hand-picking allows for immediate selection. Workers can identify and leave behind grapes that are underripe, overripe, or affected by disease. This selective process ensures that only the best fruit is collected, resulting in a more consistent and higher quality product. As the grapes are harvested, they are placed into baskets or crates. These containers are typically shallow to prevent the weight of the grapes from crushing those at the bottom. Maintaining the structure of the fruit is essential, as crushed grapes can begin to ferment quickly, especially in warm conditions. The goal is to transport the grapes from vine to processing area in the freshest possible state. The visual aspect of a freshly harvested batch of grapes is striking. Clusters of deep purple, ruby red, or pale green grapes fill the baskets, their skins glowing softly in the natural light. This visual richness is a preview of the vibrant color that the jam will eventually possess. But beyond appearance, each grape carries a unique concentration of sugars, acids, and natural compounds that contribute to the complexity of flavor. After harvesting, the grapes undergo a second stage of selection and sorting. This step is just as important as the picking itself. Even with careful hand harvesting, some imperfect fruit may still make its way into the basket. Sorting is typically done on a flat surface, such as a wooden table, where workers spread out the grapes and inspect them once again. During sorting, damaged, moldy, or underripe grapes are removed. Leaves, stems, and any foreign materials are also discarded. This meticulous attention to detail ensures that only clean, high-quality fruit proceeds to the next stage. It is this dedication to quality control that distinguishes traditional jam making from mass production. Every grape that remains has earned its place in the process. The importance of this step cannot be overstated. Even a small number of spoiled grapes can affect the flavor of an entire batch of jam. They can introduce bitterness, unwanted fermentation, or off-putting aromas. By removing these imperfections early, producers safeguard the integrity of the final product. Another key factor in harvesting is the preservation of natural characteristics. Grapes contain natural pectin, a substance that helps jam set and achieve its desired thickness. The level of pectin varies depending on the ripeness of the fruit. Slightly underripe grapes contain more pectin, while fully ripe grapes offer better flavor. Skilled jam makers often aim for a balance, using grapes that are ripe but still retain enough natural pectin to aid in thickening. This reduces the need for artificial additives and keeps the jam closer to its traditional roots. The soil and environment in which the grapes are grown also play a subtle yet important role. Factors such as soil composition, sunlight exposure, and irrigation influence the flavor profile of the grapes. This concept, often referred to as terroir, means that grapes from different regions can produce jams with distinct tastes. Some may be more floral, others more earthy or intensely sweet. Careful harvesting ensures that these unique characteristics are preserved and expressed in the final product. Transporting the harvested grapes quickly and efficiently is another crucial step. The longer grapes sit after being picked, the greater the risk of deterioration. In traditional settings, the vineyard is often located close to the processing area, allowing the grapes to be moved within a short time. This proximity helps maintain freshness and reduces the need for refrigeration or chemical preservation. Throughout this entire process, there is a strong sense of rhythm and connection to nature. Harvesting is not rushed. It follows the pace of the vineyard, the weather, and the readiness of the fruit. This slower, more mindful approach is what gives old-fashioned grape jam its distinctive quality. It is not just a product of ingredients, but of time, care, and human touch. The emotional and cultural significance of harvesting should not be overlooked either. In many regions, grape harvest season is a time of community and tradition. Families and workers come together, sharing in the labor and the rewards. There is a sense of pride in selecting the finest grapes, knowing that they will be transformed into something that can be enjoyed for months to come. Ultimately, careful grape harvesting is the foundation upon which everything else is built. No amount of skill in the kitchen can fully compensate for poor quality fruit. The richness of the jam, its depth of flavor, its vibrant color, and its smooth texture all begin with the choices made in the vineyard. By respecting the natural process, selecting the best fruit, and handling it with care, producers ensure that each jar of jam tells a story, one that begins with the simple yet profound act of harvesting grapes at just the right moment. The transformation of freshly harvested grapes into old-fashioned grape jam is a process deeply rooted in patience, tradition, and careful technique. At the heart of this transformation lies slow cooking, a method that does far more than simply heat ingredients. It is the stage where flavor is developed, texture is refined, and the true character of the jam comes to life. Unlike modern industrial methods that often rely on shortcuts and artificial enhancements, slow cooking preserves the authenticity of the fruit, allowing the natural qualities of the grapes to shine through in every spoonful. Once the grapes have been carefully harvested, sorted, and cleaned, they are ready for the cooking process. At first glance, it may seem like a simple step, placing fruit in a pot and applying heat. However, traditional jam making is a delicate balance of time, temperature, and constant attention. The goal is not just to cook the grapes, but to guide their transformation gradually, allowing their natural sugars, acids, and pectin to interact in a way that creates a rich, well-rounded result. The process typically begins with placing the grapes into a large, heavy bottom pot. This type of pot is essential because it distributes heat evenly and prevents the fruit from burning or sticking to the bottom. Uneven heating can lead to scorching, which introduces bitter flavors that can ruin an entire batch. In traditional kitchens, these pots are often made of copper or thick stainless steel, materials known for their excellent heat conductivity. As the heat is gently applied, the grapes begin to soften. Their skins loosen, and the fruit releases its juice, creating a naturally liquid base. This early stage is crucial because it sets the tone for the rest of the cooking process. If the heat is too high, the grapes can break down too quickly, leading to uneven cooking and loss of delicate aromas. Slow, steady heat allows the fruit to open up gradually, preserving its natural fragrance and flavor. One of the most distinctive aspects of slow cooking is the way it enhances flavor complexity. Grapes are naturally sweet, but they also contain subtle layers of tartness, floral notes, and earthy undertones. As the mixture simmers over time, these elements begin to concentrate and meld together. Water content slowly evaporates, intensifying the taste and creating a deeper, richer flavor profile. This concentration cannot be rushed. It is the result of time and careful control, allowing the jam to develop its signature depth. Stirring plays an essential role throughout this stage. Using a wooden spoon, the mixture is stirred regularly to ensure even cooking and to prevent sticking. This simple, repetitive action is more important than it might appear. It keeps the heat evenly distributed, prevents burning, and allows the person making the jam to stay closely connected to the process. Through stirring, one can observe changes in texture, color, and aroma, making adjustments as needed. As the grapes continue to cook, their structure begins to break down. The fruit softens into a pulpy mixture, with skins and seeds separating from the flesh. In traditional methods, this is often the stage where the jam maker decides on the desired texture. Some prefer a smoother jam, which involves removing seeds and sometimes straining the mixture. Others embrace a more rustic style, leaving small pieces of fruit and skin intact for added texture and character. This choice reflects personal preference and tradition, highlighting the handcrafted nature of old-fashioned jam. The addition of sugar is another critical step in the slow cooking process. Sugar is not simply a sweetener. It plays multiple roles in jam making. It enhances flavor, acts as a preservative, and contributes to the jam's final texture. In traditional recipes, sugar is added gradually rather than all at once. This allows it to dissolve evenly and integrate fully with the fruit. Adding sugar slowly also prevents the mixture from becoming overly sweet too quickly, maintaining the natural balance of flavors. As sugar is incorporated, the mixture begins to thicken. This change in consistency is a result of several factors working together: the evaporation of water, the concentration of sugars, and the activation of pectin. Pectin is a natural substance found in fruit that helps jam set. When combined with sugar and heat, it forms a gel-like structure, giving the jam its characteristic thickness. Slow cooking allows this process to occur naturally without the need for artificial thickeners. To further enhance the balance of flavors, a small amount of lemon juice is often added. This may seem like a minor detail, but it has a significant impact. Lemon juice adds acidity, which brightens the flavor and prevents the jam from becoming overly sweet or flat. It also helps activate the pectin, improving the jam's ability to set properly. The result is a product that is both flavorful and structurally sound. Throughout the cooking process, the jam undergoes a remarkable transformation in appearance. What begins as a mixture of whole grapes gradually becomes a thick, glossy substance with a deep jewel-like color. The shade intensifies as the liquid reduces, often turning into a rich purple or ruby hue that reflects the concentration of natural pigments. This visual change is not just aesthetic, it is a sign that the flavors are developing and the jam is approaching its final stage. Patience is perhaps the most important ingredient in slow cooking. Unlike modern methods that aim to produce results quickly, traditional jam making embraces a slower pace. This allows the maker to monitor every stage of the process, making small adjustments to achieve the desired outcome. It also ensures that the delicate balance of flavors is preserved rather than being overwhelmed by high heat or rapid reduction. One of the most telling moments in the process is determining when the jam is ready. This is often done using simple, time-tested methods rather than precise instruments. A small amount of jam is placed on a cool plate and allowed to sit for a moment. When gently pushed with a finger, it should wrinkle slightly, indicating that it has reached the proper consistency. This test reflects the intuitive nature of traditional cooking, where experience and observation guide the process. Another important aspect of slow cooking is the preservation of aroma. As the jam simmers, it releases a rich, inviting fragrance that fills the kitchen. This aroma is a combination of natural fruit sugars caramelizing slightly, acids balancing out, and the overall concentration of the mixture. Cooking too quickly can cause these delicate scents to dissipate, resulting in a less aromatic final product. Slow cooking, on the other hand, captures and enhances these sensory qualities. The texture achieved through slow cooking is also unique. Properly made old-fashioned grape jam has a smooth yet slightly thick consistency, with a natural spreadability that feels satisfying on the palate. It is neither too runny nor overly stiff. This balance is difficult to achieve with rapid cooking methods, which can produce uneven textures or require additional stabilizers. Beyond the technical aspects, slow cooking carries a deeper cultural and emotional significance. It represents a connection to tradition, a way of preserving methods that have been passed down through generations. In many households, making jam is not just a task but a ritual, one that brings people together and creates lasting memories. The time spent stirring the pot, watching the mixture change, and anticipating the final result adds a sense of meaning that cannot be replicated by industrial processes. This method also reflects a philosophy of quality over speed. In a world where convenience often takes priority, slow cooking stands as a reminder that some things are worth the wait. The resulting jam is not just a product but an expression of care, attention, and respect for the ingredients. As the cooking process comes to an end, the jam reaches its peak condition. Its flavor is fully developed, its texture perfectly set, and its color deep and inviting. At this point, it is ready to be transferred into jars, where it will cool and continue to settle. The slow cooking process ensures that the jam remains stable and preserves well, allowing it to be enjoyed long after the harvest season has passed. In the end, slow cooking is the soul of old-fashioned grape jam. It is the stage where raw ingredients are transformed into something rich, complex, and deeply satisfying. By allowing time to do its work, this method preserves the true essence of the grapes, capturing their natural sweetness, acidity, and character in a way that no shortcut ever could. Each jar of jam becomes a testament to the value of patience, tradition, and the simple beauty of letting things unfold at their own pace.